If you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, calling every man. We're the generation, we can't afford to wait. The future started yesterday, and we're already late.
Good morning, Detroit, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Empowered Living. I am one of your hosts, Marshall Bryant, and we also have
I'm Regina Ross.
Loris Allen is out today, and also Kristen Wilson will be on later in the segment. And we have some things that we want to share today, very important issues that's going on. And we also have some special guests that are here that have contributed their time to work with the homeless in the city of Detroit. So we're excited about having these guests on that have made it a great contribution to society to be working with the homeless. So that is what our episode is about today, working with the homeless and giving of yourself. We're going to start off first, though, with just some information and some updates. Well, first of all, a few weeks ago, well, 2 months ago, there was a city town hall meeting at Reverend Wendell Anthony's church. And the senators were here. Senator John Conyers was here, and Bernie Sanders as well. There were other people, and they touched on health care. So, of course, Regina, we're still dealing with some health care issues.
Right.
Yeah. So, I know with legislature and, the executive orders, trying to get rid of Obamacare or, that leaves people just really hurting and wondering, like, what are they going to do, especially with pre-existing illnesses. And I know you've probably been talking to a lot of people while you're running and campaigning.
Right. The thing is, you have to look out for the person, not just for policies and, okay, well, maybe we can save a little money here, but what about the human side of it and saving lives? So that's
Exactly.
very important.
Right. So I hope they start looking at that because, of course, those people that are making decisions, they have good health care.
Right. And unfortunately, a lot of times if you don't know what it's like not to have. It's almost like the have and have nots.
Exactly. Exactly. And the next thing coming up is, I know it's a little ways off, but 2020, our census is getting ready to happen.
Right.
And that's very important. A lot of people, they don't take that very seriously. But a few things happen when the census comes up. One, that's when the district lines are considered at that point once the census is done. So we have to be very cognizant and paying very close attention. And I know there has been petitions out there for gerrymandering, and maybe some people, they don't understand. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about what that is, what that looks like, to the average person that may not understand what district lines, what that does to
Right.
voting.
What happens, to talk about the census is very important because that determines services that we will receive from the government. And when what happens, they draw the line and your representation is changed. If you notice in the last 5 to 10 years, it has been starting to change. But now we lost a seat because of that. So when people relocate and people leave Michigan and especially Detroit area, we lose representation. So it's very important to be a part of the census. So when someone comes out, they're just taking, you have to look at it, or I think you should look at it, that they're just taking information so we can get money from the federal government for our city.
Right. And then too, understanding too, when we don't know and we're not keeping up with how those lines are drawn, if we don't say something and they're drawn and you're thinking, okay, my vote is going in for my particular community, and depending on where that line is, doesn't it carry over into, it could push it over into like the suburbs? So you think,
and it already has.
Yeah.
It already has, because a good example of that would be the 14th Congressional District. It is part of Detroit, not
Right.
all of Detroit. You have Southfield, the Grosse Points, and so it's just a portion of Detroit now where it used to be like all of Detroit. And I guess another example would be the 13th. The 13th used to be Detroit, but now it's Detroit, and it has 12 other cities in Detroit. So it's not the same representation because people in other cities, they probably do not need the same things that we need. So our representation changes because people, if you haven't been maybe at the lower scale, you don't understand or you don't recognize what people may need.
Right.
So it's very important. The census is very important.
Yeah, and it undermines the voting too. And then also,
Well,
on the-
that's the whole thing.
yeah, and then too, this year isn't it supposed to be determined with Hispanics because when the information for them, are they even really counted because there's no origin of nationality, and just like with Arabics, they're considered Caucasian. So it's kind of like,
Right, because on the applications for the Hispanics, for sure, they have white Hispanic and black Hispanic. So, and then when you say, are they taking all of it, they're not, because if they took all of it, they would probably be quite high
right, yeah.
in population, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So also, it's important to understand this. You know, like I said, it's a lot of things that's happening coming up with the election. I know one of the issues, or one of the things with voting. I know some of the people out there that's running, their issue is with the auto insurance. We've always had this issue with auto insurance being very high because, you know, Michigan, especially in Detroit, the redlining, auto theft. So of course there's things attached to the insurance that makes it extremely high. So, I mean, isn't it like is it a 6% discount, or?
It may be, but what is 6%?
Exactly.
And when you say 6% discount, okay, you hear the word discount, but that's 6%. What is that, like $6 off of $100? So you're really not saving. It kind of goes back to like when we were talking about the health insurance,
Right.
that you have to look at the people, not just, okay, well, I changed it and I gave them a discount.
Right.
Is the discount, is that even effective, the $6?
No, because it's not stopping the redlining. That's the whole point.
Right.
The redlining is the issue. So, you know, we need to vote on these issues, but we also need to understand when we're voting, it's not just a matter of this is going to change. It's not going to change overnight. It comes from the state of Michigan, and those are like legal things that take place.
Right.
Yeah.
So for us as individuals, it would be like our state representatives and our state senators. They make the decisions. They make the laws.
Right.
And but not only them. In Lansing, they have insurance agencies there, and they all work together, and that's how we come up with this extra money that
Money.
we're paying. So I would hope that our representatives would look into that, and perhaps it can get changed that way.
Right.
Because we're paying for extra categories, extra insurance, but it's in your policy, and it's not like you can say, I don't want to pay that.
Exactly. A lot
Yeah.
of times people are paying and they don't even know what they're paying. It's you know, sometimes if you don't really read it or you don't know how it's reading, then you paying for stuff you don't even
But
know.
the problem is you can't opt out, so
Right.
you're going to pay for it anyway.
Anyway, exactly. So, Regina, you are close to being our next city councilwoman
Yes.
in the city of Detroit.
Sounds great.
Doesn't that sound
Yes,
wonderful?
yes.
Okay. So there's two proposals, and you want to educate the public on it. So let's get right into that because I really want to know about
Right.
this.
The two proposals that's on the ballot, they're dealing with the marijuana. And the thing is, I would say that most likely other people are telling me too, to probably vote no for those, only because, well, not only, but the main reason to vote no on those, because they affect the children, our children. Educational institutions will be affected. The early childhood learning centers, child care centers will be affected. Libraries, recreation facilities, public house events, different events at public housing. So what we want to do is we want to keep the radius 100 feet away. We want to keep it the way it is. We don't want to change it, because if we change it, then they can have those different centers close within the schools and other locations.
Right.
And I did not mention religious institutions too. So we don't want them close to that.
Okay.
So that's the issue. And again, that's just what I'm saying. I'm not in the position to tell you to vote yes or no. I just feel that it would be a problem to have them too close to churches, child care centers, community centers. So this is a problem. So it's something that I said I can't tell you how to vote, but I can tell you probably why it would be a problem voting for that. If you vote yes on that, how it would affect us and be a problem for us.
Thank you, because you know, a lot of times people are saying vote yes, vote no, but they're not really giving us the breakdown and really understanding why. So it's like that change will, you know, like you said, what it will affect, and that's the
Right.
thing. That's what we need to understand. What is it, you know, affecting? Nobody's saying, you know, don't go get your medical marijuana card if that's what you and your doctor chose.
But the thing is, I'm really happy that you have this program so we can educate the people and let them know what's going on. And I mean, it's just little things. Sometimes we just don't know. But even with me, if somebody explain it to me, I'm like, okay, that's good. So that's what empowered living is all about.
That's
so
right.
that's what we're going to continue to do.
Right.
And starting next year, we're going to have our newsletter, monthly newsletter. So
Okay.
that's going to be good.
All right. So the next updates that we definitely want to make sure you understand, we are disheartened and we've been really praying because, you know, not only with just the hurricane and with the devastations that way with Las Vegas, what has happened, there's petitions out there for gun control. So if you would like to sign the petition or other petitions, I have one as well for petitioning gun control and the laws. You can go to http://backslash/gun-control-now-97 source equals c.em. So you can go there and you can sign the petition. You know, I know people feel differently about it, but you know, it's kind of strange that we have laws and more say so over controlling birth control rather
Right.
than gun laws. You know, so as a woman, there's more sanctions over me saying what I should and should not do. You know,
Your
us as
body.
women with my body, but yet and still someone can go get a gun and just, you know, kill up some
Right.
people and not care about life that way. So, you know, it's just where you put your values or what you think is best, but you know, we need to really start thinking deeply about that. Also, for this month, October the 27th through the 29th, there is a women's convention that will be here in Metro Detroit in Cobo Hall. So if you have not signed up or if you did not know, you can go to their website and just go look up Women's March. It will be here October the 27th through the 29th at Cobo Hall. Also, this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, also Domestic Violence Month. So if you know someone, and we are always quick to tell people to get out of relationships or what they should and should not do, but sometimes, you know, we have to be more aware and help people. I know from our point of view, we are here to uplift and give some type of knowledge or understanding. If you know someone or if you're in a situation yourself and you're not really sure how to deal with it and you have not sought counsel yet, there is a book I would like to suggest, and the book is called Love Fraud. And that book, it helps with domestic violence. It also helps with understanding how you can become someone's victim and not even realize, you know, going from being charmed and all those wonderful things, and then all of a sudden you feel like you are trapped and you're not understanding. And there are different stages to domestic violence. It's not just physical. It starts with the emotional, it starts psychologically, verbal, and then the last step is the physical. So, you know, it's best if you know someone or if you feel yourself being in a situation, please do seek help. Also, let people vote, which is part of the ACLU and People Power. On last Sunday, there was a live streaming event, and that is about voting laws and how we are affected by voting laws. And to this day, we are still affected with voting. And there are targets for minorities, also for seniors that were born by midwives, and for people that are just now being old enough to vote, you know, that get that time frame where they can pre-register. Well, what happened with this last election, they came up with show me your paperwork, and they came up with a specific law around creating difficulties for people to vote. So many seniors, if they were born by midwife, and they may not have the correct birth certificate, you know, or sometimes I know, like my mother, she was born a particular time, you know,
Right.
and that midwives didn't always take in those birth records right away. So sometimes they were, you know, kind of mixed up. It might be a year before and a year after they were told to go by their school records. Well, those are the types of difficulties, and it's telling the seniors and those that are new voters, you're not welcome into the democracy. You're not, and it creates those problems because they're deciding who they want to vote rather than the voters deciding who they want to vote for. So that's the thing we want to, you know, be aware of. And each state, from state to state, they are joining with the ACLU with this. Also, nuclear strike with North Korea. This is a big topic. There has been tweets out there, and the thing is, I know, Regina, you give me that look like, what do we do?
I know. I just don't understand why. I mean, in the year 2017, why are we even going through this?
Well, from my understanding, there was a tweet that said, you know, all before in the past, you know, that they were past administration was being, before the ink dried, they were pretty much being made a fool out of, and it wasn't, you know, it should have been handled differently. But there is a link out there, and there's a video for Representative Liu's No First Use bill, and what that is to prevent the president from calling for a nuclear strike. So that bill, you know, you might want to call your representative, and there's a number 877-650-0039. Okay, so quickly, there's been a lot going on. We're very close to the Canadian border, and many people might not know it, but of course, we've always been subject to maybe random stops.
Right.
When going through the Canadian border to be searched or to be questioned. But there is a particular issue where there are searches and seizures, and they're not being done with warrants. And it's pretty much the government is saying that they have the right to do it and take your possessions, your phone or your laptops or any electronic devices, and search through it. And they can do it for 15 days, and when you get it back, your things may be personal things that mean something to you may be deleted. So there's a particular clip that I would like to show. It's a family, and they are a family that are U.S. citizens, but they went on a family vacation over in Canada. They came back, and their little girl was sick, and they needed to get her to the doctor. They were held at the border, questioned, and they were just there for a long period of time. So of course they got frustrated because they wanted to get the little girl to the doctor, and they said, just fine, keep the phones. They got them 15 days later, and what ended up happening, all their information, their pictures were deleted. So I would like to show this clip, and it's called Coming Home, and if you watch carefully, and it does have some captions, you will understand exactly what's going on. So we're going to quickly go to the clip so you can see.
If you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, calling every man.
Welcome back, Detroit. We are here and we have one of our special guests, Miss Jackie Wright, and she has a special initiative that she has going on. And we're so proud of her for taking on, this task that she's decided to take on for the homeless. So we're glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So, you have an event coming up, and it's December the 16th, 2017, and it's called Give Back to the D. Can you talk to us about how, first of all, how you came up with the name Give Back to the D and what that entails?
Well, my mother started giving back to the local homeless people in Detroit about 2008, 2009, and it's always something that was very near and dear to her heart. And when she retired to Georgia, I decided to just kind of pick up where she left off. As we know, we're all very fortunate to have our basic necessities and toiletry items and even food. And a lot of people don't have that luxury because it really is a luxury. And a lot of people don't have that. And so why not give back to those who don't have what we have or we can go get? So I just wanted to give back.
Okay. Wow. That's wonderful.
Right, that is.
So, what is your goal for this event on December the 16th?
So the goal is to feed the local homeless people in Detroit a hot meal. I know a lot of people like to give out pizzas or a bagged luncher, but I really want to do a hot meal.
Right.
In December, we all know how Detroit gets very, very cold here in the winter time, and so that hot meal is, good to the soul. So I really want to give away a hot meal, and then also each person with the meal will also receive a toiletry bag. So there'll be a bag. Women will receive purses and men will receive drawstring bags. And each bag will contain items like socks, hats, gloves, body soap, lotion, deodorant, feminine products, things of that nature.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That is nice, and it's a need. Those are things that you need every day. So can you imagine if you didn't have them?
Right.
So some people might say, "Oh, well, she's giving them a bag." No, this is more than just a bag. This is a necessity, and I like to thank you for doing that.
No
Right.
problem.
Yeah, that was wonderful. When did it occur to you for you to pick up where your mom left off?
It was always something that was in me, in my, I'm gonna say in my DNA, just because my family is a very giving family
Right.
in general. We've always helped each other and helped those. If we saw a need, we always just did it. I never said to myself, well, I'm gonna pick up where my mom left off. No, I was literally driving home from work one day, stopped at a train. It was a very quick thought, I should feed the homeless. And just like that, it was in my spirit, and I just couldn't let it go. And so I was just like, okay, I have to do it. That was maybe about 2 weeks ago. And so
Okay.
here I am now.
Wow. Okay. So where's the location that you will be at?
So we will be inside of the NSO Toonami Center on 3rd Street in Detroit.
Okay. All right. And what time?
We will be there about 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. One until just all day, or just
It'll be about 1 until about 3:30, just whenever the food runs out.
whenever the food runs out. Okay. Wow, Detroit, just, come out if you, and you're looking for volunteers as well, correct?
Yes, we are definitely looking for volunteers. If you want to volunteer, you can contact me via email, WRIGHTJ726@gmail.com.
Okay. Wow, like Regina said, we want to thank you for taking on this initiative and, just pouring out your heart like that and feeling the need to do it as an advocate. So that's a wonderful thing. Also, have you had any personal experience or anyone that, may have experienced anything close to, homelessness or any situation? Well, I feel anybody working a job, you one paycheck away if you haven't saved so much. And that's the honest to God's truth.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Oh,
we,
yeah. Oh, I know.
Yes, I mean myself actually last year, I lost my job. I was laid off and I was maybe about a month away from being homeless because I didn't have no real money and couldn't pay anything for that matter. And I was actually a couple thousand in debt, overdraft fees. They're real. And so I was able to move in with my sister, and I was kind of able to hit the reset button on life. And a lot of people don't have that opportunity.
right.
And so I was just like, okay, I got to do something because I'm grateful for where I am. And I know a lot of people who are one paycheck away or
Right.
1 month away from being homeless because, the work field, you never know
Exactly.
what's going to happen in the workforce. So I just have to give back because, like I said, it could be anybody.
It could. And then I know here in Michigan, since I remember when I started college in 1992, it was a summer program that I went through. It was called Project 350. And it was like we were just starting college and we were sitting there, and then it was like the next week we just saw like these droves of homeless people on the street. And I remember having a class discussion with my professor and a lot of the students in the class, and we were like, where are all these homeless people? All of a sudden, the streets are just filled with homeless people, more than we've ever seen. And what it was, the mental health hospitals. Northville was the
yeah.
first biggest mental health hospital to close. And then all the rest of them began to close because Governor Engler said, close the mental health hospitals. Of course, where were they going to go? But on the street. Their family couldn't take them in, and that's been a big issue and a problem in the city of Detroit with the homeless and mental illness. There's even students that are in college, you wouldn't believe that, because the libraries stay open all night, and there's a program at Wayne State that they have. Because a lot of students, just because they're sitting in class does not mean that they're not homeless. So there's a lot of initiatives, and it's really serious. There's people couch surfing. That's a part of, that's why they're called the invisible. We just really overlook people and don't even realize that they're struggling.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we are just grateful that you are here and you have taken that on. Can you tell us the place you're going to be? We want to keep putting it out there so people understand, and we need we need volunteers.
Yes, it'll be December 16th at the NSO Toonami Center, 1 o'clock. We are looking for donations as well. If you are interested in donating, you can also contact me. We're looking for items such as socks, hats, gloves, soap, lotions, deodorant, feminine products, anything you feel is necessary to put in a bag for toiletry items. You can definitely give it over to us. We do have a drop-off location at Beautiful Beats. It is a makeup salon on Greenfield in Detroit, 18946 Greenfield. That's our drop-off location. You can always just stop up there and donate things. They have the information as well. Or you can see my name on the flyer and contact me personally if you can't make it there, and I'll arrange something. We can link up, and I can definitely take your donations.
Okay. All right. And you're also on Instagram as well, right?
Yes, I am on Instagram. You can follow me at Too Smoothie, TOOSMOOTHIE.
Okay. All right. So that is wonderful, and we thank Miss Jackie Wright again for this. Are you going to be doing this annually?
Yes, that is the plan to do it annually. With the name Give Back to the D is like a hashtag. So whenever you see it, just know that we're doing something to give back to the community. Following Feeding the Homeless with the toiletry bags, we will be organizing an event for kids in the foster care system in the city of Detroit.
That's
So
yeah.
look forward to that.
Yeah, that's another big issue too. Children in foster care.
Absolutely.
You know, that's really it's really sad, and it's really kind of deep how that happens.
Right. See, the thing is, when you were talking about one check away from being employed to being homeless, it can easily happen. Just like you were saying, luckily you had your sister to lean
Right.
on and to go to her house. But
Right.
what about the people that do not?
Right.
And it's we sometimes people tend to look down on people. Oh, well, they're homeless. It can happen to you. It could very easily happen. So one of the things that we are working on, and maybe you can partner with us and work with us, we're doing training to have people to get jobs. If they can get the jobs, then they can
Absolutely.
get back on their feet. And both of us, we have organizations, so we're going to help you too
Oh, yeah.
with the toiletries.
Oh, I definitely appreciate it. There is a group of us working together to get toiletry items. Our goal is 100 bags for women and 100 bags for men. For further information, Beautiful Beats, like I said, they're definitely partnering with us. Also, Shop Talk Podcast, which is Detroit-based. They're partnering with us as well to collect those toiletry items. And also, Not Our Blueprint is another Detroit-based organization. So if you are affiliated or know someone who works within those businesses, you can definitely contact them as well, because they have the information and are accepting donations too.
Okay. All right. Do you need any flyers or anything out there?
There will be flyers available by the next week. They're being shipped.
Okay.
And we have officially started accepting donations tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Very good. That's awesome. Very, very good. So before we go to break, I do want to share this. The reason why I asked about do you need flyers, I ran into a young man, and I love when I network with the people in the city of Detroit, and when I need something, and they go, you know what, let me help you out. So I always give them a shout out and talk about how wonderful they are. I ran into a young man last night, and I needed some printing done. And of course, we know that Kinko's is no longer 24 hours.
Right.
And the reason why, and he explained this, is because the insurance does not permit for them to stay open 24 hours in Michigan. So they won't be insured anymore
Insurance in Michigan.
if they stay open past a particular hour because of theft, robbery, whatever. So I have a flyer, so you can give him a call, and it is Doorstop Printing. You can call him at 248-470-9567. He takes orders 24 hours. So this is just one of those great resources. 5,000 4x6 flyers is $115. 1,000 at 45. $106.99. So again, it's Doorstop Printing, 248-470-9567, and he will work with you with the drop-off delivery, but very professional young man. So we always like to promote people in the city that are doing great things, that are helping and connecting with the community and providing resources. So this was a great resource, because we always need something printed.
Right,
I know
right.
I do.
That's what I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'll probably be calling him. So this was a good resource for me because, like she said, we're always having something printed. So I'll give you a call tomorrow. Thank you.
Right, and one more thing before we go to break. Yesterday, it was exciting. We went to a play, and Regina's daughter and our very own Robin Paul was in a play Prodigal Son Productions, I Need a Man. It was a phenomenal play. It was very good, and the cast was very good. Robin was excellent. So, we want to promote and also support the things that's going on in our local artists as well. That place, it was packed yesterday.
Yes.
It was packed, so the turnout was really good. So that was a very good thing. But Prodigal Son Productions, they've been around for quite
About
some
20 years.
Yeah, for about 20. Michael
Matthews.
yeah. So that was really good, and we're really proud. Of Robin, our very own Robin, that does our background. She's in the background. One day she's going to be on here and we're going to interview her. She's not always, she's kind of shy sometimes, but she did her thing on the stage though.
Oh yeah, she was excellent. The play was excellent. She was excellent.
Yeah. So that brings us to a break. So we want to thank Miss Jackie Wright again, and again, tell us where the donations, where you're going to be December the 16th, one more time so our audience knows.
Okay, well, the donations are being accepted at Beautiful Beats on 7 Mile in Greenfield in Detroit. Our event, hashtag Give Back to the D, will be taking place December 16th at the NSO Toonami Center on 3rd Street.
Okay. All right. So remember that. Save the date, Detroit, December the 16th. And we're giving back in the D to the homeless. So we're going to take a quick break. And then when we return, Miss Kristen Wilson will be doing another interview with another guest that is also contributing and doing something special for the homeless as well. So stay tuned and come back with us. And Kristen will be interviewing Mr. Russell in regards to feeding the homeless as well, and also a health drive that he's going to be doing. So can't wait to hear about this.
If you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, calling every man.
WHPR TV is now on demand. Catch us when you want, how you want, where you want. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Watch your favorite TV shows on demand. And be sure to download the WHPR app. We're now on demand at your demand. WHPR TV Detroit on demand.com. A Watkins Broadcasting Company.
If you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, calling every man. Ever feel it when people get unkind? You can hear their voices, they got poison on their mind. Though ignorance can never be excused, I'll do my best to shake off their attitude. I'm walking away again, but there's one thing that will make me take a stand. If my brother's in trouble.
Good morning, Detroit, and welcome back to Empowered Living. I am Kristen Wilson, and I'm joined here today with Mr. Rick Russell, and Regina is also back with us. So we've been having this conversation about homelessness, and it's really a citywide, countrywide, and even a worldwide issue that I think is really often overlooked at times. And I know Marshall and Regina were talking about this earlier. Most people don't even think about homelessness because it's not something that we experience, or maybe someone that's close to us experience. And I think we see people standing on the corners or lying in blankets downtown, and we've just become a little desensitized to the issue. because once again, it's not something that we deal with on the daily. But Mr. Rick Russell here, he has taken it upon himself with his organization to help out in this area. Can you just kind of explain what your organization is?
Basically, what we do is we go into the city of Detroit and help out with seniors, with homeless individuals, and with children, and in a variety of different things along community activist type of programs. So.
Cool. And can you kind of speak towards what motivated you to take action when it comes to helping people with homelessness?
Well, I was diagnosed with cancer at 33, and I was advised by the surgeons that I wasn't supposed to live past 33, at 35 at the most. So every day that I live, I live for others. But before, I mean, I went to college. I got multiple degrees in business, and everything was self-driven. It was me, 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 me. But after the cancer diagnosis and being ridden of cancer, it was more so about giving back. So I had a meeting with some individuals that I met from Detroit in a nonprofit group called the Hip Hop Caucus. As we were leaving out one of our events, we passed by some homeless people that were being warmed by a heating vent. And when I was driving home, it bothered me the entire ride home. So I went out and purchased some Gatorade and some pizzas and some blankets, and I put them in a dryer and let them get as hot as they could. And I shot back downtown, and I gave all this stuff out. It's just something I think that we should do.
Wow, and that's really powerful because most people, they'll see that and they'll just keep going home. They go home to their warm houses, get in their beds, and it won't even cross their mind again. But the fact that you felt led to do that shows that this is really something that is purposeful to you, and you are genuinely excited about making an impact in this city because you are a native of Detroit, correct?
Actually, I was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I came to Detroit kindergarten, first grade, and I've been here ever since.
Right.
I was educated in Oak Park. I left Oak Park. I've always had a passion to live in Detroit. I purchased a house in Detroit, and ever since then, I've been helping out in Detroit and Oak Park simultaneously.
Wow. That's cool. So even if you're not a native,
Yeah.
I think you're pretty close to
Right.
being a native. So that's wonderful. Like there's so many things that could be done to help out in the city of Detroit, and this is one that's often overlooked. So with you and Miss Jackie and everyone else who's working with homelessness, I think this is a great initiative. Do you want to talk about the event that's happening on October 28th?
October 28th is a red carpet backyard barbecue event at Burt's. It's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Last year it went to I didn't leave until about 6:30.
Wow.
Forgotten Harvest bought 3 semi-trucks full of food. We distributed food. They cooked food on site, so you're able to get a warm meal. They had health screenings, dental screenings, live entertainment. It's a huge event. You can park your vehicle. I mean, there's boxes of food that can be delivered to your car, so you can take it with you. It's huge, really huge.
How many years have you guys been doing this?
This is the 6th annual event for them. I've been involved for the last 4 years.
Okay. I know
So.
I'm a little young, so it doesn't really ring a bell to me. But I know that you guys are looking for volunteers to help out with the event.
Correct. If you want to volunteer, you can go on www.DetroitBackyardBarbecueBBQ.com, or you can call me 313-645-4700, and I'll contact you with who you need to be contacted with.
Wow, okay. Can you just talk about the turnout? Like, how do you get the homeless to actually come to the event? What's the advertising process like?
We've the last few years during different holidays, I've been at the NSO, I've been at COTS, I've worked with different individuals who barbecue for the homeless. We'll take it downtown with there's a group of guys called Enjoy Detroit. They do a phenomenal job as well getting information out. I'll partner with them. We'll go out and we'll barbecue inside that parking lot where NSO is. We'll have everyone come out. We'll advise them about the information, and then they'll come down. Word of mouth, pretty much.
Got it.
Yeah.
That word of mouth spreads
Word
the
of mouth.
information the
Right,
fastest.
right.
Last year was about 10,000 people we had down there,
Wow.
not including volunteers.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Does this offer opportunities for the younger generation to come and help out as well?
Yes, my son is 13 this year. My nephew is 10. They've been helping me for the last 2 years. Every event that we do with Meals on Wheels, like our council, not council person, I'm sorry, our state rep, Sherry Gay Denelgo, she's huge on our participation as far as feeding the seniors and the homeless, and they've helped her as well. So it's a huge opportunity with the children being involved with community service, and I think that it's important because we didn't know what community service was when I was growing up. There was it wasn't a part of a curriculum. It's not a part of my children's curriculum yet. However, it's been instilled on them that is very important, and it should be fed on a daily basis just as any other academic thing is fed to them.
I agree with that. I didn't really fully understand what community service was until I got to college. And different organizations that I'm in, I was able to give back when I was in college. So I'm able to help my younger sisters out now,
Right.
understand what community service is, and we do different projects with them. Meals on Wheels or planting trees. We did that one year. So I think it is extremely important for the younger generation to just understand what it means to give back and not feel so entitled to the things that they have, just to make the world a better place
agree.
overall. So
Right.
I agree.
one more time, let's talk about that event. I think we have the flyer that comes up so you guys can see that, but just remind everyone again when the event is.
It's October 28th between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. It's at Burt's in Eastern Market. It's once again it's a chance to receive a warm meal. It's a chance to receive groceries. It's a chance to receive health screening, dental screening. It's live entertainment. I mean, it's a big deal for anyone who needs or anyone who wants to volunteer.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Russell, for joining us this morning.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I hope to see many people at this event. I hope that I'm able to make it to this
I hope so, too.
event. But we are going to cut to a break, and then we will be right back.
Wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, calling every man. We're the generation.
You ever feel it when people get unkind? You can hear their voices, they got poison on their mind. Though ignorance can never be excused, I'll do my best to shake off their attitude. I'm walking away again, but there's one thing that will make me take a stand. If my brother's in trouble,
If you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, calling every man. We're the generation, we can't afford to wait.
Welcome back, Detroit. So we are getting ready to come to a close. So before we end, Regina and I want Regina to, if she could, just go over some last things that she wants to update us about the election.
Okay, great. Before I do that, I would like to remind everyone about on the 28th, October 28th, the homeless.
Yes.
The homeless, and we're going to be there, right?
Yes, we're
work.
gonna be there.
We're going to work.
Yep.
So I didn't say that before in the other segment. I was sitting there, but I didn't say that we're going to participate in that too. So both of us will be there, definitely. But back to the election. The election is November the 7th. And it's very important for you to get out and vote because that is how change occur. If you do not vote, then you sit around and you're talking about, well, I don't care for so-and-so, and so-and-so didn't do anything for me. But it's up to you. It's your turn, your chance. All you have to do is go to the polls and vote, and vote for a change. If you are in District 7, please vote for Regina Ross. Let's make a change. The things we want to do in our community is bring it back together. Inform people what's going on. Inform people how they can do things, how they can get different monies to get things done. There's opportunities out there, but a lot of times people don't know about the opportunities, so they pass them by. But we want to make a difference, and that's what our campaign is about. That's what we're about. It's just a continuation of empowered living. We want to make a change, a positive change, and that's what we're going to do in the city of Detroit, and hopefully you will help us by going to the polls and voting on November 7th.
Okay, and that's right, Regina. Like you say, it's making a positive change. It's an extension, empowered living, connecting with other people. Even if we don't get a chance to sit down and talk to people, when we see things and we see that we need to advocate for change, we want to be a part of that, because, that's what makes the world a better place. We cannot continue to ask people for permission to do things. We've got to get up and we've got to be the driving force behind it. Just every little small thing, it counts, and we can't have an I mentality. That's the thing. We got to come together. We got to make that change, work with other people. Before we close out, I do want to say this. With the hurricanes that have happened, we showed a brief video that we put together, that we tried in our efforts to contribute, which we did to the hurricane. First it started with Houston, but then it continued, and we've seen more in Florida, and we've seen more in the islands, and then Puerto Rico, and a lot of love needs to go out. I know there's some negative things that we've seen. I won't go into detail. We all know what they are. With them asking for resources, and no one should have to beg for anything. But when we see that, then that just means, what, like my saying is, I'm sorry you feel that way. So we're going to take on the role of being positive leaders ourselves and contribute and get the word out, continue to pray and connect with people. There's a wonderful video out there that artists have come together for Puerto Rico, so we want to share that with you. Also, our prayers for Louisiana, because my understanding, it was a hurricane supposed to head that way too.
Right.
So it's a lot going on in our world, but we just keep our spirits uplifted and try to do the best that we can to make that change, as Regina says, and being empowered and empower others. Sometimes we don't always feel like it, but we got to put self aside. So we're going to close out, and thank you for joining us again on this episode of Empowered Living. We hope we've shared some information with you. We hope to see you at the events, because we're going to be at both of them. They're both great events. That's for right. The homeless. So we're going to be there. We hope to see you there. So we're going to end right now, and God bless you, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Empowered Living.
If you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, calling every man. We're the generation, we can't afford to wait. The future started yesterday, and we're already late.